Welcome back to Stormworks. I made a flying castle. It's called the Pegasus because it's got these long horse legs. And I'll take you on a tour here. I kind of jumped on, but you can see you get on down there on that orange platform. There's a ladder that will happily come down for you when you get close to it. And then you follow the blue line to the command seat, and then you fly it like a helicopter. Doot, 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 doot. And just like with all horses, you fold up the legs once you've taken flight. So this is it. It is a heavy flying helicopter. It has all of the things you'll need to do every kind of mission, and it works great. It is not the fastest ship in the world, but it's pretty good. I figure I'll take you on a tour. As you can see, it has 4 primary propeller blades and some propellers on the back for turning. It's also got 2 decks, a top deck and a bottom deck. And that's where we're going to start our tour, I suppose. So here we are on the top deck in the front, where this is our command area. We can also do autopilot and map stuff here. If we move back, we have our comms area where we can choose what frequencies to broadcast and listen on, whether we're going to try and remote control a vehicle, whether we're going to allow ourselves to be remote controlled, all that stuff. And of course we can change our camera around here and look at whatever we want to look at. If we decide that we want to broadcast a picture to somebody, we can say, hey, that right there, that's what I want to see. Go pick up that crate. Over here we've got the front propellers in case you need to repair something or jump off. And then on the sides of the top deck we have the crew area, which is just like some mocked up stuff. You want a shower? You got a shower. You want a bathroom? You got a bathroom. You want a bunk room? You got a bunk room. Nothing terribly special, it's just something I put together pretty quick. As we move along, you can now see that we are in the cargo area. This is where our cargo frame is. The cargo frame, with the wheels attached here, is something we use to pick up cargo boxes. And this green door is the cargo area. This is what's going to let us do all of our cargo stuff. We might as well go ahead and show you that now. So we're a little bit high, so we're going to just drop. And then what we're going to do is just pick up that crate right in front of us. Now, if we're not sure whether or not the crate is ready, we can always just get in, and then go down. Wah! We can be like, oh, are these crates ready? How are you? Are you ready? You're ready. Okay, good. Are you ready? Everybody's ready. Whoa! We can get back in and go back up. Now we're back inside. We can get back in here, and we can just arrange ourselves to pick up this yellow box directly below us. Now, one of the things you'll notice is that there's this big yellow block that says frame locked. Well, a frame lock is, it means that the frame is locked into the ship right now. It's stowed safely so it doesn't rattle in flight. We just click it to let go, and then we can drop using these arrow keys. And basically, we want to arrange our connector to grab that yellow box, but I don't know if we're going to be able to because it's kind of wedged in a little bit tight. Let's go after that white box over there instead. Now, there are a couple of things that make this easier than most of my other cargo grabbing operations. One of those things is this camera, this downward-facing camera, which automatically adjusts to keep the attention on our frame. That really helps to make sure we understand where our frame is, and it's actually easier to pick stuff up from inside the ship looking at it this way than it is from outside the ship, you know, eyeballing it from third-person view. I think that that is a sign that I've done something right if it's easier to do from inside the ship rather than from third-person view. But that doesn't mean it is super easy. As you can see, it is still a little bit obnoxious. Down here you can see what we have on the actual edges of the connectors. There we are. So we can always use that to help lock up. And now that it's locked up, we're going to want to allow it to lock back into the frame and then pull it up. There we are. Now, if we walk over there, we're going to find that there is something a little bit strange. We've got this giant cargo thing right here, but then we've got this long, weird, open rail here. And as you might have guessed, that's the secret of this ship's cargo capacity. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this box into the rear, or sorry, into the front of the ship. And that will allow us to handle it. We've got this thing called a slide, and if we hit slide to crane, then we can see this is the slide, and it's going to hook up to the frame that we have. So it's just going to slowly make its way forward. It's not the fastest thing because it has to be strong enough to carry these crates around. And then it connects. And that is enough of a grip for us to move it around. Now you can see that we're connected on the bottom and the top, so obviously if we want to move it, we've got to unlock it from the main cargo, and then we can ready the forecargo and slide it into storage, and away it goes. Now the mass of these is enough to make the ship tilt a little bit, so there's some automatic dampening built in so that it doesn't do too crappily. You know, it doesn't tilt too much when you've got something in the front of the ship. But the ship weighs more than the cargo, so it's not that bad anyway. There we are. And we can just leave it like that. And if we wanted to, we could pick up another box. So we could be like, yeah, unlock the frame and drop it down. And let's try for that yellow one. No, I'm not going to bother. I just want to show you that it was possible. And of course, it's easy to do the operation in reverse as you like. So if you would like to bring the cargo from the nose back into the main cargo station, you just reverse the process. You can also simply drop it if you would like, because there's nothing below it. The arms that we're grabbing with, let's see, if we go down we can show you. The arms that we're grabbing with are off to the sides, not below. So if we disconnect everything, it'll just drop straight down rather than, you know, hit the ship and damage something important. So we can store 2 boxes here, and then a third box can remain back there safely. It doesn't affect our flight profile very much. It's quite straightforward, and it works great. This is the lower deck, engineering deck with all the stuff in it. It's just all mocked up. There's nothing terribly important happening. Let's talk about fire safety. I don't think I mentioned that this here does all of the watering that you're going to need to do. So you have control over the cannons and also over the helicopter. You can do both at the same time. As you can see over on the right, on the bottom, it says water, and we have a certain amount of water. And if we wanted to run out, we would have to spray for like 10 minutes. It's not as much water as it looks, but it turns out that these spray cannons do not actually use up very much water at all. Still, if we wanted to, we could eventually run out of water. But let's talk a little bit about the water refueling and just refueling in general. The basic idea here is that there are some water tanks in the front, those green ones with the pipes right underneath the windows there. But there's also some tanks in the back right here under the rear here, see? Now they're connected, as you can see, by this really long cable. And what that means is that we can refuel the front tanks from the back tanks if we would like to. And the way we do that is we pump through the legs. So if we were to, I'm going to just park it here in can't pilot it from that particular seat. I'm just going to park it here so that we can examine the legs in some detail. I don't want to park on top of boxes. There we go. Oh, I parked on top of boxes anyway. Brilliant. As you can see, there's a little bit of flex, a little bit of give. That's fine, we'll leave it. So if you wanted to suck in water, you can see that it'll tell you whether you're in water, and then you can just pump from the leg or pump to the leg if you're trying to get rid of it. But what's up with the legs? Well, let's take a look. I don't know why I went downstairs. It's on the top floor. Whatever. Oh, by the way, here you have access to all the various things that you might need to repair on the outside. And then here, we can always just... Here, this is how you get out into this area. And then once again, we can just take this down to the ground. And then here is the leg setup. You can see how there is a port hidden here. It's hard to get at right here, but it's just underneath this pipe connector. And you can pull in fluid from that, seawater. But if you want to pull in something besides seawater, just hook this up to whatever you're trying to pull from, say a tank. And you'll be able to pull diesel or jet fuel or air or whatever else you want to pull. You don't have to pull water if you don't want to. And that's why these tanks are separated. That's why you don't automatically flow from the legs into the front tanks, because these tanks might be full of some mission critical liquid that you're porting around. You know, who knows. I think that that's basically all the features. Here you can see some lights that are on and some stuff going on here and there and everywhere. Can we get back up from here? It might be a little bit tall. It's intended for water use. Oh, just barely. The last thing I wanted to do is make it nighttime and show you what it's like at night. Oh, I came back in a different way and ended up leaving a little dangling bit. Oh, that's not the right... There it is. So at night, it looks like this, which I think is kind of neat. It just is kind of fun to drive around and have something cool to look at. By the way, that like horn beetle prong coming off of the top of our heads, that is our comms tower. We have really good range with those. It's quite easy for us to communicate as far as we need to. And if we come and communicate with someone, they'll think we're aliens, because this looks an awful lot like a alien vessel to me. What do you think? We come in peace. Other things I've done with this vehicle while testing it, I have rescued ships from the bottom of the ocean by dropping the frame down and using those electrical connectors on whatever connector was available on the ship, because the frame sinks. So you can grab things from under the water. Now the maximum range on that is 100 meters below you, so you can't grab it from deep water. But I dropped a whole bunch of crap in shallow water and I needed to clean it up, and that worked great. And of course I've also put out fires and rescued people. It's all fun. If you want this, feel free to go grab it. Feel free to take it apart and study it if you want to make your own version. I'm not particularly picky. Have a good one.